What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Happy holidays to you. It is the 4th of July weekend. Hope everybody had a great time yesterday, popping fireworks, watching fireworks, and everything else, man. Listen, I'm tired myself. Did you grill yesterday? Did you put the food up? You got leftovers? What you eat yesterday? Ribs, chicken, hot links? Did you say you ate some ribs? Yeah, I'm gonna get on the grill today. I was tired yesterday, man. I didn't get a chance to do much on the grill, but I'm gonna do it today. The kids yelling they hungry every 30 minutes, so I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to get on the grill. I seasoned up the ribs and some chicken and some other stuff yesterday, so I'm gonna get on there, man. So I hope everybody had a great week, great holiday, man. Enjoyed the time with your family or with yourself, however you do it, You know, a lot of times you don't get a chance to be with the family. Did you get some fireworks, pop them? Did you go downtown and watch them yesterday or wherever you live? Some people may not necessarily have those big city fireworks in the towns that they live in. But listen, man, at the end of the day, I hope everybody had fun. Don't drink and drive either, all right? Don't drink and drive. Don't do none of that stuff. I've been on the road all week, moving around with my kids and stuff, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later in the show. But, as we get inch closer and closer towards football season, as we inch closer and closer towards SWAC Media Day, we'll start to look a little bit more into the team, reach out to Coach Graves and the assistants. Coach Fredericks don't have a problem coming on. Coach Miller doesn't have a problem coming on. So as we get closer, we're in July now. The countdown has begun. Football is next month. And I know as we inch closer and closer to football, the views are going to go up more and more because people want to know what Southern football looking like. I know what y'all want. I just got to fill y'all time with a lot of other stuff until then because I can't overly give you football. Then you're going to be footballed out before we even get started because we're going to start in basically the end of July going into August, and we're not going to stop this thing until December. That's how long this thing going to roll on to. And listen, y'all know just like I know. You go to that first game and the snap of a finger is homecoming, and then you look up it's Bayou Classic, and it's like, dang, where did the year go? It's already over. The SWAC championship, you know, we've been watching the Celebration Bowl at home, but I'm hoping things change. If they say start in the A and end in the A, maybe this is our year. Just maybe this is our year. I'm hoping it is. I'm tired of watching the Celebration Bowl, watching other teams. And I've gone to the Celebration Bowl before in person myself. So, you know, I watched Grambling and Alcorn both in the Celebration Bowl. So I went to the first and the second Celebration Bowl. It was Grambling the first one was Alcorn versus North Carolina A&T. I had the pleasure of seeing Tariq Cohen. Man, God, dog, that was one of the best athletes I've ever seen play black college football. The kid just was an absolute beast on the field. And that Alcorn defense that year was really good. That was 2015. Was that 15? Yeah. Then the next year, I had an opportunity to watch Grambling with Devontae Kincaid. Grambling versus North Carolina Central. Jerry Mack was the head coach over at North Carolina Central for the Eagles that year. That was a heck of a game. Came down to the end. Remember, North Carolina Central lost because of a celebration penalty in the Celebration Bowl. So I'm ready to get there. How about that? I know y'all ready to get there. We're going to get there first starting in August, going to the MEAC SWAC Challenge, but we'll make things happen after that. Let's get ready to take a break, man. I'm kind of just rambling and getting there. I'm just getting going, man. Listen, that day after the holidays is tough. Then you got to come on here and do a 2-hour show. So, and I got on my B&G Supply Company shirt. So, CJ, I told you I was going to wear it today. So I got on my B&G Supply Company shirt. We got to get some shirts up in here for the guys in the studio. What size y'all wear? We need an extra large and a large so we can have the B&G Supply Company all over the place. Look at them. They dapping each other up because what, y'all size or something? What y'all dapping each other because you're large and extra large? Oh, okay. He excited. I like that excitement. Come on. Come on. Let's get excited then. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Rishard is the quarterback. And, Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Rishard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Rishard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Rishard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown.
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Rishard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Rishard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Rishard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Rishard. Rishard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Rishard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Rishard. 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, everybody, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Did we get the volume straight? I know it's all okay. All right, we're back, man. I hope everybody's having a great morning. Welcome back. I am Perry White. Good to have you guys with us. I'm just looking at the comment section. It said the audio was low. Audio is low. Okay, we got the audio. Let me know in the comments is the audio straight. I don't know from the people on the radio side if the audio, but let me know in the comments if the audio is better, so we make sure we can get you straight. Tyreek Cohen did it pretty well with the Bears. Yeah, he did do pretty good with the Bears, man. Listen, this is something I want y'all to do. I saw this kind of on social media. And look, it's the 4th of July. We just play around today. I don't really have much of a show for you guys in terms of a direction here and there. So today is all about y'all and me. Let's just have a conversation. It's the 4th. We're not going to play dominoes and spades today, but we just going to have a good conversation. Let's talk about, for my Southern people out there, and even my SWAC people, it doesn't matter. Southern SWAC, I got a question I'm going to pose, and we'll do this for the rest of the first hour and maybe dive into some other areas. We're just going to freestyle this thing and go wherever y'all want to go. And the call-in is, put the number in there for me, 225-499-1073, 225-499-1073 for anybody that wants to call in. But let's do this. Because we had Eric Randall on last week, and a great interview by Eric Randall, man. I love Eric Randall, man. That's just a good guy, educated guy, does a lot for the community. But I want to go here, whether it's Southern, whether it's SWAC, wherever you want to go, because I know we get a lot of people who listen to this show that's not necessarily just Southern, and they may be outside of Baton Rouge. But who is the best player that you've ever seen, whether it is Southern or the SWAC, in any sport? And I don't care the era, the time. I want to pose that question because at different eras have different superstars. Just like when I grew up, I think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player to ever live. You got other people in today's time that look at LeBron James. Now we're in a whole different era. Steph Curry, the conversation changed. There was a time it was Larry Bird, it was Magic Johnson. It was all type of things. Okay, hold on before we go there. But let me know. Tell me in the comment section. Let me know on the phone lines. And it doesn't matter the sport. It could be hockey. It could be soccer. Whatever sport you saw, the greatest player, athlete that you think from Southern or the SWAC, you know what? Throw in the MEAC too. I know we have some people on the East Coast. Throw in the MEAC. I don't care. Because you may teach me something today. I know back in the day, in the 80s, Delaware State had some pretty good athletes. I want to learn something today. And a lot of times, I'm on here giving you guys information. But sometimes I can take a seat back and I want to make that fun word. Teach me something. Show me some information. Give me some information. I know Chris will call in and give me something from back in the day. But let me know. It doesn't matter. It could be basketball. It could be soccer. It doesn't matter. Golf. Who is the greatest athlete? Or you can tell me about the greatest team. Let's do that too. Whatever. The greatest team. What is just the greatest team you ever saw assembled and go out and compete and win something and say, man, look, I haven't seen a team that good since. And I didn't see a team that good before. Let me know. All right, let's go to the phone line. Let's go to Chuck. Chuck, good morning. What's going on? Happy holidays to you.
Yeah, same to you all and the listening and viewing audience. I was just calling. It's a slow sports time in the summer. If you want some humor, you get a chance to watch the Savannah Bananas on the Diamond, the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. They play the party animals and firefighters. You want some comedy. They're kind of like that movie Bing Along Traveling All Stars and Motor Kings with Billy D. Williams and James Earl Jones and Richard Pryor. And they were kind of that traveling team. They were former Negro League players like these guys, the Savannah Bananas and all those guys. These are former minor league players and college players playing on those teams. And they you know what? They're what they're doing. They're packing those NFL stadiums and Major League Baseball stadiums as well. I noticed that about them. And what they're doing, it's a husband and wife team that own the Savannah Bananas. But my reason for calling, I was calling to let you know that I know you have SWAC Football Media Day coming up. I saw Tiffany Green yesterday. I know that's a disgusting competition, but I love George Shea doing his narration of the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And George Shea does some great narration as a longtime announcer. And Tiffany Green did an interview. She even, she interviewed, Joy Chestnut, made his way back and won 17 championships. They call him the Michael Jordan of hot dog eating now. But they call him the Michael Jordan of hot dog eating. He ate 70 yesterday, and Tiffany Green was up there interviewing him yesterday. Interviewing the winner. They had Miko Sudo won on the women's side. I think she's getting herself ready for the football season. Jay Walker. These people do sports after this season. He did the SWAC baseball tournament, and Tiffany. She did the women's college bowling championship, national championship as well.
Yeah, she's done some softball in the past too.
Softball, yeah, she's done softball. Forgot about the women. She did this. Yeah, she's done softball in I think during the she didn't do Oklahoma City, but I think she did it during the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have to do that. You have to hone your skill. When the season's over, you have to keep your voice going, and you're getting paid for it too. That's the next thing. And you were talking about Delaware State. I don't want to be going a long time, but Delaware State. I remember the Delaware State teams of the '80s under legendary coach Bill Colick. The foundation was put by Joe Przicki, white guy. The people didn't want him at Delaware State. It was kind of like Jay Hobson's story. Przicki, when he left, I think he went up at James Madison, and he turned over to Bill Colick. They both went to the University of Delaware. And the people were not ready for the white coach and what happened. But when he left, Bill Colick took over, and Colick had some great teams. John Taylor was on the team too. Taylor played under both of those coaches. And well, you know what? Coach Colick, he's in the MEAC Hall of Fame, but he's not in the College Football Hall of Fame nor the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Something is wrong there. I'm just kind of wondering about them. I'm going to land on that one.
All right. Thank you, Chuck.
Okay. All right. You all take care.
All right. Always a pleasure to have Chuck come in. He's our Jaguar Journal historian. He's going to give us some information all around the place. I don't like watching that hot dog eating content. I don't like watching people eat. I don't know how people go viral with these, what they call it, mukbang and all. Man, I hate listening and watching people eat. Just watching you eat, I can't stand that. Eating, then give me a review. How about that? Tell me after you done eating, was it good? Okay, then I'll go try it. But to watch people eat, I don't like to hear people smack, because people like to smack when they eat. That bothers me. People like to talk with food in their mouth. That truly bothers me. I don't want to watch you eat. To watch dude stuff his face the way he does, dipping that hot dog in water and just cramming 5 hot dogs in his mouth at one time and not chewing. Then you got to chew. I just grew up, you got to chew your food. Whatever. I know it's a contest. I cannot stand that. I don't even know why y'all let the people go viral eating food that way. Y'all sit there and watch them people sit there, listen, they get fat on you too. You watch them when they, hey, they started 2 years ago. They was some nice, slim looking people, weren't they? Like, this is some good whatever. 3 years later, face all swole up, body all round. Y'all ever watch the guy that chugs stuff? I forgot what they call it. What's his name? Badlands Chugs. Oh, my God, that is disgusting. Who want to watch you drink a gallon of milk, bro, in 3 seconds? That's horrible. I just think, why do we let these people get this? But it's people out there that just so bored they need to be entertained. I don't want to watch you down orange juice, a gallon of orange juice, 2 gallons of orange juice in 5 seconds. I don't want to watch you eat 60 hot dogs. How long do they normally do that for? What, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes? That's disgusting. It's like going to a buffet and you watch people just pile up the plate and just eat until they just start to sweat and ooze out the food. That's disgusting to me. I'm sorry. I just heard that and I just had to say that because that bothers me. I cannot sit there and watch people eat on YouTube and none of that, man. Don't smack, don't chew your food, don't talk to me with food in your mouth. I just got a problem with that. 10 minutes, they say. Yeah. Edwin Moore said, Perry, the best player or team ever seen is extremely tough. We've seen a bunch of great squads in football, basketball, baseball, and track over the last 50 years. Edwin Moore, I ain't been around 50 years, bruh. So that's what I'm asking you. You may have seen that over 50 years, but how am I supposed to know what happened 50 years ago? You got to tell me. Give me something. You can't do me like that, Edwin. I ain't been around 50 years ago. It may have been somebody 40 years ago, Perry White don't know nothing about. That may have been a team 40 years ago. I don't know anything about it. So because you saw it, share that knowledge, brother. Let's go. Who else we got on here? Somebody, Ricky Weeks. Varg said Ricky Weeks, Steve McNair, and Jerry Rice. I can go see. Thank you, Varg. Come on, Elwin. Don't be difficult. Give me something, Elwin. Follow what the rest of the class is doing. I like that, Ricky Weeks. All right, let's see. Emmy says Doug Williams or Walter Payton. You know what's the problem, man? It'd be so hard to find the college side of things. I'd be wanting to go back and watch that stuff. You know, for a lot of them who made it pro, you get a chance to see a lot of their pro tapes. You know, but it's hard to go back and find. And even with when we do the commercial breaks on the Jaguar Journal, YouTube, and Facebook, I know I saw last week or a couple weeks ago, somebody said, can you put more Southern content? Man, let me tell you, I go out and I create those highlights. You won't believe how hard it is to go out and try to find those games where I got to go through those games and get enough highlights to at least do a 2 or 3 minute highlight film. It's hard to consistently find it. Then it may be one game, but it may not have been their breakout game, or it may not have been their best game of certain athletes that you guys want me to do. So remember, 225-499-1073 is the number. We playing around today. Let Perry know. Let the people know. It don't matter, Elwin, whether it was over the past 50 years or not. Who is the best player that you've seen, whether it's Southern or the SWAC or the MEAC, in any sport? Or let me know the best team, just collection, just team that you saw go out there. I don't care. It could be hockey, it could be rugby, it could be football, whatever, that you said that was the best team I've ever seen put together. Never seen one before that good, and I never see one like that after that good. Let's get ready to take a break. I'm going to leave that with you. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
He is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast, and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st touchdown. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the first down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch.
All right, everybody, we're back. That is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Good morning to everybody out there listening, watching on our YouTube, Facebook, everybody out there on Talk 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. Remember, you can keep up with the Jaguar Journal on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to follow us across our social media on X, on Instagram, as well as our Facebook. Hit that like and follow button. Become a part of the Jaguar Journal family today. Jaguar Journal family. Okay, I got that word. Become a part of us today, okay? We continue to grow. We had a great conversation with former Southern quarterback and a legend last week, Eric Randall. A lot of people enjoyed that last weekend. As I move forward today, I'm getting excited because I'm reading this. Theo, now I go over to Facebook. Theo said, listen, the best player he ever saw was Steve McNair. And he said the best team ever assembled that he's seen was the 1993 SU football team. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm going to keep going through here. I'm going to read these off because that's the whole point. I want to read this because there may be some names somebody say, you know what? I forgot, because what got me here yesterday, with it being the 4th of July, everybody know, of course, come out of Arkansas. It was saying, who is your Mount Rushmore of Arkansas high school football athletes, football players? And so I had went back and I said a name that some guys had not heard in a long time, of a guy by the name of Slick Shelley. Was a wide receiver, man. Listen, one of the best I ever saw on the high school level. But when I brought it brought up a memory to a lot of guys like, dang, you know what? I forgot about that dude. That dude, now that you mention it, that dude was off the chain. So that's what I'm saying. This is good to bring up names of guys. Once again, if you're just tuning in, I'm asking the question out there. We're going to have some fun today. And if anybody want to call in and talk to me about it or tell me, 225-499-1073, tell me the best athlete you've ever seen from the SWAC, MEAC, or Southern. I know I got my Southern people out there, but I know we got a lot of people who aren't Southern who I'm not going to exclude you out of this. You're going to be a part of this too. This is the weekend. It's the holidays. We're doing some family stuff. Or, and it doesn't matter the sport, or let me know, or let me know the best team you ever saw assembled. Like, man, listen. Hey. God, dog. Let's see. I see Steve McNair, easy. Doug Williams, Walter Payton. As I said, Varrick said Ricky Weeks, Steve McNair, Jerry Rice. Michael Jordan and Serena Williams. They didn't play in the SWAC or the MEAC or at Southern. All right. Here we go. Walter Payton. Marion Motley, SWAC, MEAC, South Carolina State. He played running back for the Cleveland Browns before Jim Brown's. He was a beast. Anybody know about him? Marion Motley from South Carolina State. Let's see. Who else we got on here? Somebody said Walter Payton was like the Pope in Chicago. They absolutely loved him. Let's see. Who else we have here as we go? Willis Reed in basketball. Y'all agree with that? Willis Reed. Emmett says Lou Brock in baseball. Here we go. Daryl Stewart says Steve McNair, Eric Randall, Walter Payton, Doug Williams. Oh, Reggie Barlow. He's throwing Reggie Barlow name in the mix. All right, we got Steve McNair. Steve McNair name comes up a lot. I mean, was Steve McNair better than Doug Williams? Is Steve McNair the best quarterback ever? I got a lot of questions for y'all. I do this all day with you. Let's see. Bob Hayes was the best dual threat athlete, football and track, that were probably in the SIAC then. Says Bob Hayes, the best dual athlete. I have the 1993 SU football team. Let's see. Edwin Moses, track at Morehouse. Now, remember, I said the SWAC and the MEAC now. Come on now. Let's see. Buck Buchanan, defensive end, Grambling. And Robert Brazil, Jackson State linebacker. All right, Johnny. Okay, Johnny. Johnny got along with him. He gave me a list. Thank you, Johnny. Steve McNair, Jerry Rice, Avery Johnson, Bobby Fields, Ricky Weeks, Nathaniel Harrison, Willie Quinn, one of the New Age guys, right? Michael Hayes, Leonard Tillery, and Eric Randall. Somebody gave me Tank Younger, running back, Grambling State. See, I don't even know who Tank Younger is, but that's why I need that, so I can know. Let's see. Okay, Elwin. Thank you, Elwin. Here we go, Elwin Moore. You know, God, dog, boy, he the one in the class and asked, well, why is the sky green, sky blue and the grass is green? Let's go, Elwin. He says football. Doug and Mike Williams, Grambling squads. He says, in terms of the football teams, the W.C. Gordon teams of the 80s. And I continuously hear about those teams. He says the Pete Richardson teams of the 90s and basketball, Alcorn's early 80s squad. They said Alcorn was a beast in basketball, Elwin, in the 80s. And let's see, SU's late 80s squads in basketball. He said in baseball, Ricky Weeks and the SU squads in track in the 80s and the 90s. All right, let's go back to Varg. What's Varg have? He says the 2003 SU baseball was the greatest team. Varg, you saying that the SU baseball in 2003 was the greatest baseball team ever assembled? From 2001 to 2004, SU had 24 players drafted with 2 first-round draft picks. No HBCU will ever have that type of talent again. I believe you're right. Here we go. Notable, Avery Johnson. Here we go again in the SWAC, Steve McNair. Bruce Eugene, Big Bruce. Somebody named, listen, you want to know the first person I was ever starstruck over? Bruce Eugene was. So as I come up through the ranks, I told you guys, I used to, when in my younger days, I was a ball boy for UAPB football. So I had the blessings to see a lot of players and a lot of great teams up close in the early 2000s. Bruce Eugene, because social media was not big at that time, they used to have this thing called the Sheridan Broadcast Poll, and I would hear it in the morning and the evening, going to and out of school, coming out of school, about the best black college football teams in the nation, right? They give you the Sheridan Black College Poll, and they tell you who the top teams are. Grambling during that time was typically always there, but the name Bruce Eugene was always there, and of course, you had those days of BET, you watched NBC, at the time that was owned by Robert Townsend with the M, not the N, NBC. And I would watch those games. A lot of times they would show Grambling and Alcorn. You would see the Grambling Jackson State games. But, you know, to watch Bruce Eugene throw for 300-400 yards consistently, and, you know, he was the superstar name that you heard on the radio and television. I mean, just complete. He didn't even fit the bill of a quarterback. Just looked like he should have been playing right or left tackle. He should have been the guard. I mean, he just didn't fit the bill at all. But when I got a chance to meet him, so back in the day, UAPB and Grambling, for those that know, used to play in what they call the Red River Classic up in Shreveport, Louisiana. This is once UAPB joined the SWAC. Grambling and UAPB never did home and home. They would play in Shreveport every year during the Red River Classic. Finally, in the 2000s, early, UAPB ended up getting their stadium, Golden Line Stadium. I think it's Simmons Bank Field now, whatever. Then UAPB and Grambling decided to pull out of the Red River Classic and do a home and home. Bruce Eugene came to Pine Bluff, and I mean, it was a hell of a game between UAPB and Grambling going back and forth. But after the game, I always used to go on the field and just run around and just high-five everybody. Just you a kid, that's just what you did. All the football players, you just run and high-five. When I saw Bruce Eugene, I literally just froze because I didn't realize when you see him on television and you hear about, I didn't realize how big of a guy he was. And in person, being a kid, he was he was just like, this is the quarterback. You know, you watched him play the whole game, and not only that, he was elusive. He could move around. He had a little wheels on him. But that was the first player that ever. I don't get starstruck. I kind of look at guys and just be like, you know, it is what it is. But Bruce starstruck me. I couldn't believe the guy that I had been hearing about every week, about 300-400 yards, how Gramblin's that. I couldn't believe I finally got a chance to see him. Let's see, Ronald Hunt. Chuck said, I attended the 1993 Bayou Classic, and Pete Richardson, you see the year under Pete Richardson, SU had a great offense and defense. The defense was explosive under Cliff. Let's see, the 2003 SU football team. Football, Air 2 McNair. Basketball, Texas Southern Machine Gun Kelly. Baseball, Ricky Weeks. There we go. Y'all get it going. The best team, probably one of those Grambling teams with a few Hall of Famers in the 60s. Buck Buchanan and Willie Davis, etc. Ricky Weeks is the only SWAC baseball player that I know won the Golden Spikes Award. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's the Heisman Trophy of college baseball. He's the only to ever win it, and I can tell you probably at this point going to be the only one to ever have it from our ranks of the HBCU space. Ricky Weeks deserves a statue in front of Lee Hines Field. And nobody ever should wear the number that Ricky Weeks wore at Southern. Ever. That number should be retired. The same way I feel about Leonard Tillery. Our greats. Leonard Tillery is the all-time leading rusher in the SWAC. We talk about the Walter Paytons and everybody else. Destry right at Jackson State. We got Leonard Tillery. No one should ever wear number 21 again at Southern University in football. That number should be retired because in this day and age of the transfer portal and everything else, that record is going to probably stand for the next, it may stand forever. You're not going to get guys sticking around, and that's probably what's going to happen in the grand scheme of sports, period, where we see these records. We know records are meant to be broken. At this point, a lot of records are going to probably sit until the end of time because guys just not going to stick around long enough to break them. You have a breakout season this year, you go on next year. These records aren't going to get broke. Tillery's number needs to be retired. We need to do a whole ceremony, the first home game, and we need to retire Leonard Tillery's number and honor him. He's the all-time leading rusher in the SWAC. The same way Ricky Weeks deserves a statue of him with a bat or with a glove in front of Lee Hines Field. Let's get ready to take a break. I'll be back. Got you on that one, huh? You wasn't ready for that, was you? Stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal. Keep the comments going, everybody. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
And they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
Really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, you know, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, you know, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, you know, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. It's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And
all right, everybody, it is the Jaguar Journal. We are back. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning to everybody listening to us on Talk 107.3 across the Baton Rouge capital city area and everybody watching across the country and the world on our YouTube and Facebook Live right now. Good to have you guys with us. Just a couple of housekeeping things. Be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to follow us on X, Instagram, as well as our Facebook. We want to continue to keep you guys growing with us as we continue to grow the show and we inch closer towards football season. And I'm having some fun with this morning. It got me a little excited because that's what I want to do. I know a lot of times what I don't get a chance to interact with the comment section. And I don't get a chance to interact with you guys a lot because I'm typically having programming on here with guests and everything else. But now, today, I say, you know what? Let's do this. I just want to go out on a limb. I want to interact with the comment section. I typically just let you guys do your thing. But the question I'm posing this morning, and I want everybody to chime in on this, whether you're in the comment section on our Facebook Live or on our YouTube, or if you want to call in, 225-499-1073 is the number. Let me know the best player in any sport from Southern, the SWAC, the MEAC, as well, and or the best team from Southern, the SWAC, or the MEAC that you ever saw assembled. Doesn't matter the era. I'm not here to judge. It could be before me because guess what? You may teach me something because I just learned something right here. Paul Tank Younger was the first player from Grambling drafted into the NFL in the 1940s. He is an NFL trailblazer with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Rams. He's from Grambling, Louisiana. Bruce Eugene was the truth out of New Orleans, Walter L. Cohen High School. Best team, the 1983 Tennessee State football. Richard Dent, Larry Kennebrew, Mike Jones, Joe 747 Adams, Steve Moore. Steve Moore was Mike. Y'all know about that 1983 Tennessee State football team? Let's see. UAPB used to play at Humphrey Stadium. Yeah, I went to many games over there off of Lake Pine Bluff. Man, that wind used to whip. They only played like 2 home games back in the day at UAPB. It used to be homecoming, and then they would play somebody like, and that's why I tell you, Southern fans and most teams, well, you know what? A lot of teams in this conference didn't have stadiums like Southern back in those days. I mean, look at Prairie View, UAPB. UAPB would have to play games other places, just like Prairie View would have to do around Houston. UAPB always played homecoming, then they would play like a Langston, a Lane College, somebody like that at home. But the rest of their games, they played in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium all the time. Let's see. Mike Hegman, linebacker on that Tennessee State squad. They had about 6 or 7 players drafted. Vark, Danny Goodwin, SU baseball, also won the Player of the Year. He was the only player in history to be the #1 overall draft pick twice. Once out of high school and then after SU. He was. I learned that from Coach Kadar. Let's see. He said, I think Tillery and Quinn's numbers are retired. No, they're not. And Willie Quinn goes down in history as Southern, not the SWAC, but as Southern, all-time leading reception and touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. But the fact we don't know is because they didn't do a ceremony. We wasn't in the stadium clapping, cheering, saying, man, those guys were great. And we got to do it during the big game, like a Jackson State game. Or, and listen, Tillery and Quinn used to go off against Jackson. We ought to retire those numbers this year. Anybody at Southern out there, listen, I just gave you an idea to make Jackson State fans cringe for when they play. Let's retire Willie Quinn and Lenard Tillery's number. I'm really big for maybe not Quinn's. You can keep Quinn number. I mean, even though he goes down in Southern history, Tillery goes down in the conference history. I mean, what Tillery did, I'm telling you, at this point, Destry Wright owned that record, and that was coming out of the late 90s. Tillery broke it. It won't get broken again. It's going to be there. Nobody's going to stick around long enough to be able to put up those numbers unless you averaging 400 rushing yards a game. And we're talking about wing T power eye football all day. It's the only way that's going to happen. Let's see. What else we got on here? Good morning, Teldrin. I actually met your brother not too long ago, man. Me and your brother ran into each other, of all the places, at Twin Peaks. Somebody said Ricky Weeks' only scholarship offer. Southern gave Ricky Weeks his only scholarship offer when he came out of Florida. Let's see. Marion Motley played football at South Carolina State and the University of Nevada of Reno, playing in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. Edwin Moore said, I agree with Air 2 is the most dynamic SWAC quarterback ever. The SWAC has had a ton of serious quarterbacks, Doug and Mike Williams, Fred McNair, Robert Kent. I remember Robert Kent at Jackson State. Terrence Levy, Quincy Rishard, Reggie Barlow, Tavares Jackson. I was a big fan of Tavares Jackson. Of course, you guys know it's tough to be an Arkansas Razorback fan, but if I got my favorite Confederate team, my favorite Confederate team is the Arkansas Razorbacks, even though that's tough to beat. But Tavares Jackson played quarterback at Arkansas before he transferred to Alabama State. He was there at Arkansas the year that they went to the SEC championship. Let's see. Best tight end, Raymond Chester, Morgan State. Y'all know anything about Raymond Chester from Morgan State out of the MEAC? Terrence Levy and Tavares Jackson, both gone way too soon. See, Texas Southern used to play SU in the Astrodome. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Back in those times, Southern's been blessed with a stadium for years. Texas Southern, Prairie View, UAPB, schools like that, man, look, had to go and play at other venues. Let's see. Big John Merritt had football powerhouse at Jackson State, winning the 1962 Black College National Champion, and then on to Tennessee State with the powerhouse program. Let's see. My man Calvin Walker said Calvin McGee was a great tight end. Is he the best tight end you ever saw, Kevin? Calvin McGee, tight end for Southern? Nobody seems to remember or talk about them, but my favorite SU wide receiver duo was George and Foreman. Chris Davis, Milton Slick, Bernie, Jimmy Smith, Scotty Anderson up at Grambling, and Carlos Pennywell. I had a pleasure of watching Jerry Rice when he was at Mississippi Valley. Sean Gregory was a great quarterback at Jackson State from 1988 to 1991. His wife is the current interim president at Jackson State. I didn't know that. We got to get ready to take a break. See, I'm interacting with the comment section. I normally ignore y'all and let y'all do y'all thing. I'm with y'all. I'm in there today. All right, let's get ready to take a break. We're at the top of the hour. We'll be back, everybody. Stay tuned. More to Jaguar Journal.
Quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball's at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, They give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good. Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rishard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference, Donald Hayes from Grambling, your top passer. Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff,
and the ball was dropped to Tommy Head.
Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass.
It's
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyan will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. And Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1-yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
On driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of bounds at the 10-yard line. An I formation. Oh! Fumble Levy. He kicks it and falls on top of it.
Touchdown. Receiver that has not seen much action comes up big.
1st and 10. Washington over the middle, intercepted. On his own play of the game is Michael Hayes with 8 receptions, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And that was
the last one was unbelievable. In the back of y'all, man.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. We are at the top of the hour. Good morning to everybody listening on our Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge, capital city area on the radio, and everybody watching, listening across the world on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us. I got to shout out my man CJ. I got on the shirt today, B&G Supply Company. So if y'all need those supplies for your businesses, make sure you go holler at B&G. My man CJ Guidry and everybody, the team over there, get you guys together. And as we have at the top of the hour, of course, a very special guest here, man. This is a guy who I enjoyed talking to. I told you he was one of the guys, if you've been listening to the show for a while, I used to look up to, watching those old school games back in the day, BET and everything else. Want to welcome to the show my man, Mark Gray. Good morning, Mark.
What up, D?
What's up with it?
Just chilling and enjoying a holiday weekend.
So let me do
to the start of football season
Uh-huh.
and get ready for the Major League Baseball All-Star game. So it may be a downtime in sports for a lot of people, but it's on for me.
Let me do this with you, Mark, because today I posed a question. I normally don't get a chance to interact with my my comment section on my videos because I'm normally so loaded with guests. But today I said, to hell with it. I'm interacting with people. I posed the question. I want to get you going because you've been around. You've seen a lot. You broadcasted these games. You've seen a lot of talent over the years. My question is, I got two of them for you. Who is the best player that you've seen, whether it's the SWAC or the MEAC, across any sport? Just overall, that one guy, that's one. And or what is the greatest team across the SWAC or the MEAC ever assembled that you've seen with your own two eyes?
Damn, can I have a cup of coffee first? That's a loaded question right there. I mean, because as you're saying that, I'm thinking Earl Holmes, I'm thinking Terry Mickens, I'm thinking Sean Wallace, I'm thinking, when you start talking about great players, there are people like Alan Suber, who played at Bethune-Cookman.
I got somebody from your alma mater. Somebody put in the comment section, they said the best tight end was Raymond Chester, Morgan State.
We could also put Visanthe Shenko up in there, too. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember that season that Shenko had when he played in Minnesota with Brett Favre, and it was an all-pro season, and they came up a game short from getting to the Super Bowl. So that's a loaded question. And I ain't trying to dance around it, but it's so many. I mean, Antoine Bethea, I got to cover.
And you got to give me the school because we educating people out there for a lot of people. Like
okay,
me, if you may say a name I don't know.
Antoine Bethea went to Howard, played for like 12 years with the Cardinals as a safety. Terry Mickens played for Green Bay and one of their top, I think he's still top 10 all time in yards received. Trying to think, Shenko was one of them. Earl Holmes was a great linebacker. I think he spent time in Pittsburgh. I mean, they're just, and I probably, and I can't think off the top of my head, how do you define greatness? Is it in the context of what they did in school?
It's what you decided, what you saw.
Or, because I'm going to be honest with you, man, and I'll tell people this till I die. The best player I saw pound for pound in the MEAC was Alan Suber, who was a quarterback at Bethune-Cookman. I was at the game where he took over for Cal Troutman. They came back at Hampton on a homecoming and won. And I'm telling you, Perry, the kid was about $195. I'm $165, to be honest with you. Took hits. They ran what they call the wide bone offense. And it was kind of like that RPO thing that they're doing right now. It's just that your quarterback had to be willing to take hits on the pitch. And by the end of the season, I think that kid was worn down oftentimes, but great. And speaking of fam, I mean, Jaguar Journal, you fans hate me because I was asked to do a top prospect thing when I was doing the conference games for the NFL. And I had talked to people. They love Nolan. He was a great catch. He caught passes. He got big numbers, one of the all-time greats at that time, 1AA. But he you can't go to the NFL as a receiver 4'6". You know what I'm saying? That's just too slow at that position. And I made the comment, having talked to some scouts and you people hated me for it. And then I started thinking about A&T guys. They had a running back, Michael Hicks. They had quarterback Alan Hooker, who was all that. Alan Hooker is Hendon Hooker's father. So I've seen so many guys, who done so many great things. It's just been an amazing last 25 or 30 years to watch the caliber of talent that we're seeing right now at our schools. And to be honest with you, that's when guys who didn't get looked made it a destination as opposed to a stopgap. Now you got guys falling back to it. So it's kind of skewed the perception of the talent that we have at our schools right now, which even to me makes it more amazing that we still got coaches who can still make certain things work at certain places. So it's in my career, Perry, I think next to, when the NCAA started allowing black players and black colleges into their organization, I think in many respects, when we were all up under the NAIA rules, the HBCU were able to attract more talent and kind of do their thing. These days, it's changed. It's a new world order. And for me, given that the best black talent could only go to black schools up through, say, the mid-'70s, it's kind of hard for me to make that comparison because it's two eras. It's almost like the days of Major League Baseball before black American athletes were allowed to compete in terms of you look at records because even baseball proved it last year, when they pretty much statistically proved that Josh Gibson was the greatest player ever using all the analytics of today, the WAR, the ops, in addition to batting practice, home run, and RBI. So it's really a hard way to describe who's the greatest because of the sliding scale until we get somebody like, the guy I work with on this project for MLB.com who can really statistically analyze it these days. But now that we know that it's out there, if you put the numbers out there and make it objective, more often than not, we probably have a lot more Hall of Fame caliber type players that should be preserved for history and by their greatness. And we haven't discovered them yet. And I'm hoping that the analytic people will take that up in all our sports so that we really have an understanding of the impact that, quite frankly, black American athletes have had on all levels of professional sports, both on the field and in business. So that's a real tough question, but I get where you're coming from with it. I wish I had a more cogent answer. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing a good job because you're doing a good job because I posted it's an interaction with the comment section. So the comments are going off. I'm seeing Michael Strahan. It's been Steve McNair a lot. A lot of people said Steve McNair. For me, I told people I didn't quite give who mine was, but I said the first player who I was ever starstruck by as a kid was Bruce Eugene because, of course, you remember the Sheridan broadcast poll used to come out. Mm-hmm. It was like I always heard. So when you're in the car and all you hear is Bruce Eugene, and then when you're watching on NBC and BET, you're watching Grambling playing Alcorn and Jackson. You watching him go off for 300-400 yards passing, but then when you see him and they're talking about his size, but I got a chance to see him in person, I was starstruck by Bruce Eugene. Like this is the guy I've been hearing about. This is a guy I watch on television, and now he's standing right here in front of me. For me, being a kid, it was just like he was larger than life. Even though he was large in real life, but he was larger than life to me. You know what I mean?
I do, because that was like it for me coming as a kid into the business, and when Doug was coaching Grambling. Now, you can't be a kid from D.C. and be so passionate about your team, and then you meet the greatest idol of your life at that time, right? I mean, Doug Williams is everything to people of my age in the district. Make no mistake about it. There's only one person probably that's revered more in D.C. by Black Americans. His name would be Marion Barry, and he was the mayor of the city. After that, there's Chuck Brown, and then there's, the go-go guy. And then there's Doug. That's it. That is the holy grail of dudes. And there's a news anchor named Jim Vance who passed away, who was just the coolest dude ever. So that would be the Mount Rushmore of influential Black people to folks in the district. And they can say what they want, but that's just how it is. So when you look at nice to meet you, dog. That first time was just like, it was an out-of-body experience.
It was.
You know, and those are the kind of things that have attracted me to sports particularly, and has given me a passion to make sure that the stores of HBCUs are still out there for as long as they can be and documented on the internet. So when they start wiping away history like it didn't happen, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Here's the content. And that's where I'm with it right now. You can't erase the greatness of what people like that did. I mean, Coach Rob, T. Richardson. I mean, my goodness, Coach Mumford, Marino Castle. Come on, man.
W.C. Gordon.
Yeah, right. How about that? I mean, so there's so many layers to this.
Let me ask you this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a greatest team that's out there? The greatest team that don't matter whether it was baseball, football, women's basketball, it don't matter. The greatest team.
You know something? This is where I totally get non-objective. Because there was a time where my alma mater, Morgan State, won like, 28, 30 in a row over the course of 3 seasons with Coach Earl Banks.
When was this? We got to educate
This was
people.
This was like late 60s, early 70s. So I was only born in 1966. So I used to hang out with my older cousins and fans at the games on campus. But what also happened was, at that time, when you start talking Raymond Chester and Willie Lanier and Leroy Kelly, these are the dudes, man, that my little cousins was taking me to games to see, and I didn't recognize. So imagine being a kid from that who's used to seeing that. Then I had to move to Baton Rouge, and I'm looking at Melbourne. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Robinson. It's just, dude, in my lifetime, I have seen things, and it's not been assignment oriented. It's been stuff that culturally my family showed me, and that's basically what it is. That's the magic of certainly, to me, well, really, the Black community, Black college football is the Black American national pastime. With all the cuddling, the pageantry, the tailgate, the halftime shows, the fifth quarter, that's our thing. And I think the cultural significance of what our competition has done for our community has been a great source of pride. So I kind of try to stay away from the greatest of anything, because as a collective, it's probably one of the most transformative experiences, for lack of a better term, that we've seen in this country. And now look at it now. Who would have ever thought that we would have 2 networks with national TV coverage all season long? Whether you like it or not, whether the broadcasters get on your nerves, we got it. We got the Bayou Classic on national TV. So, we've had some progress. We just got to fight like hell and make sure it don't get taken away.
That's right. Let's get ready to take a break, everybody. Got my man Mark Gray joining me here on the show this morning. We're going to get ready to take a break, and we'll come back and continue the conversation. You guys stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Quincy Rishard is the quarterback. And, Don, this is a man who's really changed his game from last season, and he's a graduate student as well.
Yes, he has, Bob. Quincy Rishard has matured into the unquestioned leader of this Southern University offensive attack. 10 wins this season, and he set school marks for passing yards and touchdown passes. And Bobby's had a lot of help. Only 5 sacks on the season.
He earned his undergraduate degree back in August. He's taking some master's classes, and he wants to be a lawyer.
Here's Rishard looking in the end zone. Has a man there. Touchdown, Southern University.
Play clock down to 3. Rishard gets it off over the middle. Touchdown!
Holmes goes in motion and comes set on a 1st and 10. Rishard completes it. That's Ard. Ard down the sideline. He could go. And finally pushed out of bounds. Rishard's run for 10 touchdowns this season. He's going to keep it. Rishard goes in. Make it 11 for Quincy Rishard. Rishard wide open. Touchdown, Chris Davis. Oh, does he love playing football even more now?
That in the flag against Grambling, holding on the kickoff.
Rishard looking deep, and it's a touchdown.
But only 3 times did he go down. Twice he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. It goes down as a sack.
2nd and 8. The deep ball, and that's our man, Chris Davis, for the touchdown. Time for today's State Farm Players of the Game. And from Southern University, the quarterback, number 15, Quincy Rishard, 34 of 42, 552 yards, 5 touchdown passes.
Quincy, on behalf of State Farm Insurance Companies, I want to present you with a trophy for the most outstanding player today. Congratulations.
All right, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. Listen on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge capital city area and watching on our Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I am Perry White. Got my man Mark Gray joining me this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, what up?
Man, as we continue this conversation, man, what's going on? You got some information. What's going on in your world these days, man?
Well, I guess by now, I hope everybody knows that I'm assistant managing editor for MLBBro.com. That's the baseball website that only covers the few, the crowd, the dwindling Black American players that's in the game right now. And what people don't know about Major League Baseball is that from the 50s through, I guess, the late 80s, that was the golden age of Black American baseball. And while everybody talks about the impact that the players from the Negro League had, most of those Negro League players, believe it or not, were being educated at HBCU. So what happens is, for Black colleges at the time, however you want to look at it. So what I've done is, and when you look at the course of baseball history, you would be shocked how many Black American players have played significant moments in big games. So with my website, MLBBro.com, next week, in conjunction with the Swingman Classic, we will be dropping the MLB HBCU all-time team. And I will say this, that in my research, and thanks to Jay Sokol from Black College Nines, who does the HBCU football polls and baseball polls and things like that, and Coach Roger Cater and some other people that were on the committee that I kind of put together and said, look, I want to recognize the fact that as I do a segment or feature, Perry, called Black in the Day, and you can go to YouTube and find those archives. I've got about 60 pieces over the last 5 years that I've done chronicling the impact that Black American baseball players have had in the game. And as you do deeper dives, you start respecting the appreciation for baseball players who came from Black schools. Now, in some places, the players didn't necessarily play for the schools because the schools didn't have baseball at that time, but they did get their degree. So if you got your degree and you played or played at an HBCU, you qualify for the list. So you open that can up and you start realizing, and I'll go back to 1969. Perry, you weren't born then. You probably was just a thought in somebody's morning.
My mom was like 3 years old.
See what I'm saying? So let me tell you about 1969, because everybody's heard about the amazing New York Mets, right? The team that knocked off the Baltimore Orioles in one of the biggest upsets in sports history. It was a time where Baltimore lost to New York twice. They lost to the Jets in 69 in the Super Bowl, and they came back and lost the World Series in 69. But what happened was, the untold story of the 69 Mets is that it was the Black college players that won that. No disrespect to everybody hearing from Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, John Matlack, the white pitchers. It was the black HBCU guys that won that series. Tommy Agee from Grambling State University had 2 big catches in Game 3 and hit a home run. The Mets took that series under control like that. You got to remember, the Orioles were a 102-win team. They were a juggernaut that year. They were the baddest team. What happened was the Nets beat them for context in a way that NC State beat Houston. Only won that cruise of 3 or 4 games to 1 series. It wasn't supposed to happen. People don't know that the MVP of that series is a guy named Don Clendenin, who went to Morehouse. I didn't know that until I am a writer in Atlanta. I go to Morehouse's old school athletic director at the time. He passed away. Here I'm meeting Don Clendenin in the face. He's a black dude in 1969 that gets traded at the trade deadline, goes to New York, wins MVP. We're going to talk about Cleon Jones of Grambling State, who caught the last out, the one where he puts his hands in the air and drops to the knees. That's just one moment that is lost in the history of Major League Baseball. So I said, I'm going to put it on blast. I got the platform. I'm fortunate enough to have a publisher like Rob Parker from Fox Sports who's like, take the chance, go out there and run it up. And I did, and I found some amazing stuff there. The impact of Major League Baseball has been not only influenced by Negro Leagues, but it's HBCUs. Because back in the day, the players in the HBCUs were the businessmen in the community who just had a passion for baseball, and they came out and did it big. And look at where we are right now. So it's been a tremendous learning experience for somebody who got a passion for baseball, but particularly understood the influence of the Negro League. But I think that when you start looking at the influence of the Negro League in Major League Baseball, it starts with a lot of people who were, if they were getting paid playing Negro League Baseball, they were also getting their educations and starting businesses on the side so they could keep it going. So it's a tremendous, and I would say to anybody who really wants to learn an alternate side of Black culture, which was civil rights away from the marches and stuff like that, do a deeper dive into what Black American players did to help blow up a game, and I mean that in a good way, with the talent and the athleticism that was brought into the game by the Black American players. It kind of saved baseball. And the players that I have on this list were critical contributors on the old school level, but contemporarily, you got the Ricky Weeks in the world, which I'm going to say it to y'all, Southern fans, y'all don't revere y'all heroes the way that you should.
Thank you. I just said Ricky deserves a statue outside of Lee Hines Field and a lot more. Like, he's no one to ever win that Golden Glove, go to the Spikes Award at a HBCU again. You just won't see it.
He hit 495 for the season, bro. He hit 495. All right, that's damn near half the time you go to the plate, you're getting a hit. Failing success in baseball is getting a hit 3 times in 10 at bats. You go to the Hall of Fame. This dude hit 495 for the season. I mean, it's absurd that Southern blows him off like that. But it's just, I just don't get what Southern does really, man, as far as treating the history properly. And I still go back to where it took them, 7 months of Sundays in order to get Pete's name on a football field. You know what I'm saying? It's incredibly disheartening to see that when somebody adds to the legacy of your institution and gives you a certain amount of notoriety and you don't capitalize on it. And it's not just a Southern thing. I think in many respects it's an HBCU thing. And we got to get off of that. Especially when and I'm praying, and we all got to pray for FAMU right now, because I think we about to lose their soul as a HBCU. I really do. Ron DeSantis has put this MAGA woman into the presidency at FAMU, and so we all know that the significance of Florida A&M is going to be diminished because they got a racist governor. And I don't know why Southern in the capital of the state, you're revered, people respect you. Why don't you celebrate the accomplishments of your own instead of amplifying the stuff that goes wrong? You get a lot more headlines, board of trustees and administrative hires. Hey, let's just honor the greatness of the people that have come behind you, because if you don't do it now, you may not get a chance to do it, and it may be forgotten for generations. And I think that's where we are so important right now in this business right now. You have to leave archived information that will stand the test of time, that will refute the ignorance and propaganda that folks are trying to tell you.
Hey,
Mark.
Mark.
And you have at least 75 million people who bought into it, and that's where we at right now.
And that's why I posed the question today. I know it may be so broad and it's hard to think, but if we don't have the conversations to say, okay, who's the greatest that you've seen, the greatest team? Those the type of conversations, because just can't say, well, over my time, it's been so many, and then leave it at that. We have to talk about it. Like I told you had a conversation. Bo Jackson played when at Auburn?
When I was getting ready to graduate from high school.
If you go to an Auburn game right now, there's students and young people still wearing Bo. They never saw him play. Just heard probably somebody talk about it, and it's just a lore that associates itself with that school and with that program that you just know that's synonymous. It goes with football. Whoever Bo Jackson is, whether they know him or not, it goes with football. That's the same way we have to do. That's why I love the conversation there, because I'm saying we got to bring up the names, because you may bring up some names that in my short time that I don't know about, and educate me and let me know who they are, because I need to know who these people are so then I can tell the story, because I only know what I know. And that's how it is when we teach our children, when we teach a village. You got to teach them what you know, not just what they see right now. Let me ask you this. My man Varg said Ricky Weeks' pictures and name are all over Lee Hines Field. Is that enough when you're talking about a legend like Ricky?
No. I mean, for the reason that, remember what he played, 10 years in the league, he was an all-star, he's an associate manager. I mean, come on, man. In the holy grail of evolution of your baseball experience, Ricky Weeks is, I mean, you just look at it. He was a pretty much unrecruited, not highly appreciated talent. And then coach tells Ricky, dude, you an athlete, bro. I'm taking you out of the outfield and putting you at second base. And it works. It's an amazing story, bro. It really is. The conversion of him from outfield to infield, which in theoretically now would, if you want to contextualize it, folks who don't remember Ricky Weeks, that's basically Mookie Betts. All right? Let's be clear about that. And when you get right down, Ricky Weeks was a lot like Mookie Betts, that person who could play infield and outfield positions and stole bases. He was a five-tool player. And it's like, and I will say this, in all fairness to the new generation, with baseball being defunded on most campuses at black schools these days, and it's not a TV sport, and then somewhere in our community, Major League Baseball has lost its cool when you don't see enough players of color who speak the language that you do. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny to me, having been in the baseball locker room for the last 30 years. I cut my teeth when I'm covering the Braves. I'm in there with Terry Pendleton, Bonnie Smith, David Justice, Ron Gann, Morgan Freeman, another black college player from Jackson State. Okay, 10-year career in the major league, won 2 National League Championship Series with the Braves. I put that name out there. People are like, who? And this dude is giving back, bro. He's gone into the pockets of the money that he made, create baseball academies to give Black American kids an opportunity to get the kind of training that they need, even if they can't afford to go to like an IMG. Nobody talks about that, bro. You know, we forget about the greatness, and then these days, quite frankly, man, kids aren't being challenged to do a lot of research. And that's the thing that concerns me about the climate that we're in right now, particularly since the Department of Education has been infected by, the wrestling queen. You know what I'm saying? She don't know nothing about education, but she the wrestling queen. And when you start taking books out of the Library of Congress and you start, diminishing the full picture of American history, we're going to miss out on stuff like that. So that means that I do have to coach you up so that you can keep the memories going, because we don't want them to take, like they're going to try to erase up Barack Obama from history books. That move is on. It's almost like there's a groundswell of support for people from the other side who don't want to remember the contributions that people of color have made to this country to, I guess, make it great when it was great, according to the terms that you use. You look at greatness, right? So you will find that the legacy of Major League Baseball has dramatically been impacted by people from the HBCUs. And I'll tell you this. I can make a compelling argument that of all the great names that we've talked about, that there's one player that went to fame who's probably standing out from them all only because he's from an HBCU. If you're old enough to remember Andre Dawson, who played for the Expos and the Cardinals, this dude, I asked Coach about it. I asked Jay about it. And clearly, Andre Dawson was that dude. The Hawks 7-time All-Star. I think he hit like 500-some home runs. He stole like 400 bases. People don't talk about that. And you look at FAMU, right? They had, on my list, they've got Dawson. They've got Marquise Grissom, right? We've got Vince Coleman. And they would have had Tim Raines. It's just that FAM offered him a scholarship, and the Expos paid him to go to the minors, and he said he didn't want to go. Nobody knows those stories, and when you start doing a deeper dive, you start seeing how it was like that. So you had players that couldn't play in the major league that played in the Negro League. You had a lot of guys that had to work and go to college, but they were getting paid by playing in the Negro. Joe Black is one of them from Morgan State. He didn't play at Morgan, but he graduated from Morgan, but he was playing baseball after school with the Baltimore Giants, because finally the Negro League is a feeder system for Major League Baseball. It wasn't like baseball players weren't, black guys weren't playing baseball. It was just that now the scouts was finding them, and it was like, okay, we're gonna get Joe Black, we're gonna get Jackie, we're gonna get Larry Doty. All right, let's go scoop the dudes up. They can play, and we'll just have to work on where they can sleep. Because most hotels were segregated. You had white hotels, and then you had black people who were there traveling, just had to find a place to go. I'm telling you, I was at Rickwood last year when Reggie Jackson talked about his experience in Birmingham, and I was like, wow, that just only added the, for lack of a better term, I call it romance with the game, certainly the Black American baseball game that you find out. Because when Reggie Jackson tells you the story, that Bear Bryant, and he was playing for the Birmingham Barons, and he said Bear Bryant used Reggie Jackson to convince white people in Alabama that it was cool to recruit black players. Everybody's heard the story about how Sam Cunningham came from USC with John McKay and beat Alabama down. But before that, Bear Bryant kind of stood Reggie Jackson up in the room amongst them, for lack of a better term, Alabama boosters. And Reggie will tell you the story. His words, not mine. Bear Bryant stood me up. He said, this is a fine boy right here. We got to get some more niggas like that so that I can beat John McKay, Aaron Parsegian, whoever else, the dude that was coaching at Ohio State, Woody Hayes. He said, I ain't going to beat none of those guys until I get some, his term, niggas like this. People stood up, gave him the hand. Reggie said, you know something? It took a lot for me to swallow that, but I knew where he was coming from. It was a compliment back in the day.
Let's do this.
The backstories of some of the stuff that you find out from back in the day would shock people, but it happened. We got to get over it. Black people have moved forward.
Yeah.
I don't think the other side has.
Let's do this, Mark, real quick. Let's get ready to take a break. Take a quick break, and we'll come back and continue the conversation. Everybody out there listening, that's the voice of my man, Mark Gray. You guys stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
And they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
Really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss.
All right, we're back. More to Jaguar Journal. Good morning, everybody. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning, everybody out there listening on Talk 107.3 FM around the Baton Rouge capital city area. Everybody out there watching on our YouTube and Facebook, be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, as well as on X, on Instagram, and Facebook. Continue to grow with us. We are growing, and we're glad to have you guys growing with us. Got my man Mark Gray on the phone this morning with us. Good morning, Mark.
What up?
Hey, man, I had somebody say there's some interesting stuff. Give people information to the work that you're doing, how they can keep up with it and continue to grow with you as well.
Well, they can always hit me up on social media. I'm The Sports Grooves on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm even doing a Snapchat thing. First time I ever started doing Snapchat, but it's an interesting point. But what I'm doing really right now is I'm assistant manager and editor for MLBBro.com. Rob Parker started a black baseball website like 6 years ago, and I was one of the first 2 people that he hired. And when he said it, I thought it was kind of crazy. What are we going to do covering Black American baseball when it don't seem like it's so many people that are into it? But what you find out when you put it out there, there's a thirst for this energy, not only by people in our community, but, it's the funny thing about baseball historians, man, most of them are white, and the real appreciation, the real acknowledgement that Black American baseball has been given has been because there have been some conscious white guys, white people, who, respect the game objectively. And I think that's what we do right now. But, the thing for me over the last 5 years, I've always had a passion for baseball. I tried to play the game. I was good enough to play in high school, but after that curve started moving too fast. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, hey, dude, the curve, there's a big difference between that curve ball in high school and the curve ball in college. the game. I'm that kid that was old enough to have, like, Pop and Uncle that would take you to the old school barbershop. And I'm talking about Reggie Jackson and telling me, you ain't seen no baseball players. You ain't seen Satchel Paige. You ain't seen Goose Tatum. You ain't seen. I'm like, all right. So I'm hearing about all this stuff. And again, I'm a baseball kid growing up. When we were up, there was no cable TV. There was a couple of things you could bank on from a sports thing that you could see, folks. And there was no ESPN. I know I scared a whole lot of people in the audience. There, no ESPN. Yes, I lived before ESPN. And what we would do, baseball was on free TV every night in the summer. So if you understand it, once the sun went down, you went in the house because it was so humid, you watched the baseball game. You watched baseball on Saturday afternoons because that was the only time you'd watch it on Monday night. There was a thing called Monday Night Baseball at that time. And I just kind of fell in love with the game. And the craziest thing is, I get to Atlanta, you remember the Braves had sucked. They were just terrible for about 20 years, couldn't get anywhere. I moved to Atlanta, and my first year on the beat, they won the National League West Division. Yeah, believe it or not, folks, the Braves did play in the National League West. So they had to play the Giants. They had to play the Dodgers. They had to play the Astros. And I think the Padres. It's a totally different Major League Baseball at that time. And I was overwhelmed by trying to figure out how to cover that sport. But I'll say this, any journalism kids out there who want to get into the sports game, if you can cover baseball, you can cover it all. It's so long, it's so tedious, there's so many nuances, different personalities, and just to watch the game on the inside evolve for the last 25, 30 years and see the diminishing amount of Black American players, that troubles me. And that's why I thought it was important for next week for us as we get ready for the Swingland Classic. And again, when I told Coach Roger Cater about this a year ago, he was like, I'm all in, whatever you need. And, that dude is a jewel, man. And I think that we got to start appreciating guys like that because we're not going to have them for so much longer. And what happens is you gotta soak up as much as you can from them so that you can spit it out there in another way. And I think what we do on the multimedia level with our podcast, we got an MLBblog.com podcast, mixtape, where we merge hip hop with Major League Baseball and tell stories in that context. We got a mad cool baseball website. And again, we cover the stories of Black American players, a few of them that are in there, but we got some great Black American players of this generation right now. And I'm just blessed to be able to watch one right now. You probably heard about that kid, James Wood, from the Nationals. He's all that. I was telling people when I first saw him, I was like, he reminds me of Dave Winfield from the other side of the plate. He's going to be in a home run derby contest this year. I will say this, I could see James Wood in a couple years morphing into the type of player. I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he could be like Aaron Judge. He got the power. He's made the biggest leap somebody will tell you is that a player makes between his rookie and sophomore season. There has been a spike in his game. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, that's a kid that you got to watch out for. I think maybe next year, within the next 2 years, we'll be talking with him about that guy. And he's a Black American player. Okay, let's be clear about that. He kind of does personify what's happening with the African American player because his player, his family is well off. So he can get to the IMG Academy and stuff like that, where many players cannot. So that's the thing that's hindering. But he's that dude. And I think he could be the face of Black American baseball as soon as he's grounded in, all right, I've been through the show. I know what I can do. I know how to handle myself. I think he's a guy that can move units. I think he's a guy, when I say move units, I'm not talking about drugs. I'm talking about, products, smart kid, great player. that's one of the guys that we're going to have to hold on to over the next 10, 15 years because the pipeline is not where it once was. And I think it has a lot to do with the infusion of, quite frankly, the Hispanic player. That's where even the HBCU scholarships are going right now. So,
hey, you watch the SWAC baseball tournament, it don't look like us often.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And the justification, which I hate the coaches are using, I got to do what I got to do to win. You can win with black players. You just got to be willing to go to the places that they are, like the RBI World Series. There's tons of leagues around, but whether it's due diligence or whether it's laziness, you don't see too many college scouts at HBCU games, if there are any, or really taking it. And we got to fix that. I think Major League Baseball in certain markets could invest $2 million a year into inner city programs, and then maybe you see a few more kids coming from urban areas. Because kids were coming from urban areas when I was growing up, but you also had Little League Baseball, the police of athletic league in major markets around the country, and a lot of people were coming, like Chicago, New York, DC, Baltimore. We were playing in it. That stuff got defunded. When we started losing Parks and Rec and all that kind of stuff, it really hit the black baseball world hard.
Yep.
And that's why we probably don't see as many black American players. But I will say this. The black American players that are young and in the show are ridiculous right now. I mean, there's Wood, Michael Harris in Atlanta, Lawrence Butler in Oakland, and I forgot the new kid with Oakland's name who's been making all those catches that were Sports Center highlights. It's just there are so few black players. But like Butler told me, if you come to the show, you got to be extra special. He said, it's not, we're not going to work for you. You got to be extra special. The black American players that we have in the game right now are extra special. On the high end, you got the old school like Aaron Judge and Mookie Betts, and on the new school, you got James Wood, Michael Harris, Lawrence Butler. I'm probably leaving out some people at the top of it, but we got great black stars. We need to get black folks into the ballpark. And we also need to get black stars some shoe contracts.
Hey, Mark.
I hate to be this way.
Go ahead. I got to get ready to get up out of here. But before we get ready to get up out of here, man, let everybody know how to keep up with you and continue this conversation with you and be able to keep up with the product, the work that you're doing up there.
Yeah, check out MLB Grow, like Major League Baseball Grow.com. It's on. Go check it out right now. And next week, you will see my HBCU all-time team. So like Monday or Tuesday, because it's in post-production right now. So I've done all my work, the research, the script, the voiceover. And just wait for the post-production folks to have it. Check it out this week. And I'm anxious to get my report card from Coach Cater to see if I got it right.
Well, that's the voice of my man, Mark Gray. Mark, appreciate you coming on this morning with me, man. Thoroughly enjoyed this.
Always, fam. Love you. Hey, I love you, and I'm praying for you, Louisiana, because I think the Speaker of the House don't have your back.
Thank you, man. We love you too, Mark.
All right, bro.
All right, let's get ready to take a break, everybody. Come back and close things out. Stay tuned. More of the Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket, and his pass is caught.
One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing. Nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5 yards. Levy on 3rd down. Looking down the sideline. Yes, sir. Big time player.
Guys, step. All right, we're back. Let's get him off the screen. More of the Jaguar Journal. Some phones, boy, I tell you. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. It's been a great one, man. I got my man Mark Grayhead came on and talked to us about some baseball, MLB. Hey, I interacted with the chat today with the comment section. Look, I know I normally don't. I interacted with y'all today, so y'all don't act like I just be ignoring y'all. I was right there in there with you today. I was all the way in there with you today, all right? Appreciate everybody just sent in that talked to me about the best players you ever saw, the best teams you ever saw. Man, I thoroughly enjoyed this today. Look, it's a good way to get the day going. It's the holiday weekend. It's the time of the year when people get a chance to sit around and you have these conversations. You know, you sit with your friends, you say, man, I remember this guy, I remember that guy. Man, this is just what we do here. Everything ain't, you know, I typically have programming lined up with the show, but today was just a little bit different. It's the holidays, man. A lot of people don't feel like talking today anyway. You know, I'm with my family. It's the holidays. We vacationing. So why not spend it with the time with the people who take the time to listen to the show? And I appreciate you guys, everybody who watching on our Facebook and YouTube, as well as if you go back and listen and watch this after the fact. Everybody on 107.3 FM listening live across Baton Rouge on the radio, man. Look, man, I appreciate you guys, and I'm thankful that you guys came and listened to the show today. Look, I got my shirt on. CJ, B&G Supply Company. For everybody out there needs your supply company needs, you go see B&G. They'll get you together for all your supplies for your company. And look, go check them out. CJ and everybody over there take care of you. And for me, man, be sure to go follow the Jaguar Journal across all social media on X, on Facebook, as well as Instagram. Be sure to subscribe to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel. Each week, it seems like this show is reaching somebody new and say, I didn't know y'all was there. Let me go hit the subscribe button. Each week, I'm starting to see the views are going up on the shorts and everything else. So we're growing as people continue to learn and know more about us. Once again, radio dipping into the world of digital media. And so there's going to be people out there who don't know. Trust me, from what we're seeing, there's a ton of Southern folks who don't even know we exist. So we're just trying to tear into our own market before we go anywhere else. But I appreciate everybody out there. Thank you, Mark, for coming on this morning. And thank you guys out there. Love you guys as always. Hope you guys have a safe weekend, and I'll see you next week at the same time, because always, it's the Jaguar Journal. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.